Spending nearly 4 decades inhabiting a single character is a rare achievement, but it comes with a quiet cost. Anthony Geary, best known for his long-running role on General Hospital, experienced both the privilege and the confinement of that kind of fame. His portrayal of Luke Spencer brought him admiration, security, and creative purpose. Yet it also tethered his public identity to a character he never fully owned. While audiences celebrated Luke's intensity and evolution, Anthony lived with the strange paradox of being deeply recognized and personally misunderstood. He was not someone who sought the spotlight, and the rituals of celebrity often left him uneasy. The success that opened doors also narrowed perception, reducing a multifaceted artist to a single image. Over time, that tension shaped his relationship with work, privacy, and self-definition, quietly influencing the choices he would make beyond the camera's reach. Roots in a quiet town. Anthony Geary was born in 1947 in Coville, Utah, a place defined more by space and stillness than ambition or spectacle. Life there moved slowly, grounded in routine, family, and a sense of mutual responsibility. Raised in a devout Mormon household, Anthony absorbed values centered on discipline, humility, and respect for others. His father, Russell Dean Geary, built a construction business through persistence and craftsmanship, while his mother, Dana, cultivated emotional awareness and compassion within the home. These influences shaped Anthony's inner life, teaching him to observe carefully and listen deeply. Coville did not offer artistic pathways, but it gave him something equally formative: an understanding of restraint and reflection. Long before fame, he learned that meaning did not have to be loud. That lesson would later become both a strength and a refuge as his public life grew increasingly visible. A mind drawn to story. From an early age, Anthony's relationship with storytelling set him apart. While other children enjoyed movies casually, he watched with intention, studying performances and noting how actors conveyed inner conflict. He kept meticulous records of films, actors, and emotional impressions, treating cinema as a language to be learned rather than entertainment to be consumed. Alone in his room, he reenacted scenes, experimenting with voice and gesture, trying to understand how people revealed themselves under pressure. This curiosity was not driven by a desire for attention, but by a genuine fascination with human behavior. He gravitated toward characters marked by contradiction rather than heroism, sensing that complexity was closer to truth. Without mentors or models in the arts, Anthony relied on instinct and discipline, quietly developing the observational skills that would later define his performances and give them an unusual depth. Finding his place on stage. At North Summit High School, Anthony struggled with traditional academics, but the stage offered clarity. Theater became the space where his focus sharpened and his confidence emerged. Teachers and peers recognized that his performances carried an emotional weight uncommon for someone his age. When he received a drama scholarship to the University of Utah, it marked a turning point. Leaving Coville was not just a geographic move. It was a commitment to uncertainty and growth. At the university, Anthony immersed himself in training, refining technique while remaining emotionally open. He earned respect not through bravado, but through preparation and seriousness of purpose. Each role became a study rather than a display. The validation he received during this period did not inflate his ego, but it did confirm something he had long suspected. Storytelling was not simply an interest, but the work his life was meant to pursue. A producer who saw depth. Gloria Monty, a producer known for reshaping daytime television, recognized something distinctive in Anthony's work. She was less interested in polish than in emotional credibility, and Anthony embodied that priority. When she took over General Hospital, she remembered his earlier performances and envisioned a character who could challenge traditional soap opera archetypes. Luke Spencer was created with moral ambiguity at his core, and Anthony approached the role with caution and intention. He resisted easy charm, choosing instead to explore contradiction and consequence. What began as a short-term contract quickly expanded as audiences responded to the honesty of the portrayal. Anthony did not attempt to soften Luke's flaws, trusting viewers to engage with complexity. That trust became foundational to the character's longevity and marked a shift in how daytime television could approach male leads. A cultural moment takes hold. The pairing of Luke Spencer and Laura Webber became one of the most influential storylines in daytime television history. Their wedding episode drew an unprecedented audience, transforming a serialized romance into a national event. For Anthony, the experience was both exhilarating and disorienting. The attention extended far beyond the studio, reshaping how he was seen in public and within the industry. While fans celebrated the romance, Anthony remained focused on the work, aware that popularity could be fleeting if not grounded in integrity. He understood that the success of the storyline rested on emotional credibility, not spectacle alone. The phenomenon elevated General Hospital and redefined audience expectations, but it also intensified the merging of actor and character. From that point forward, Luke Spencer was no longer just a role. He was a cultural symbol that followed Anthony everywhere. Recognition and its weight. Over the course of his career, Anthony Geary received numerous awards, including multiple daytime Emmys, reflecting sustained excellence rather than momentary acclaim. These honors affirmed his commitment to craft, yet they did little to ease the burden of being closely identified with a single character. As years passed, opportunities beyond General Hospital became increasingly limited, not due to lack of ability, but because public perception had hardened. Anthony spoke candidly about the difficulty of being seen as anything other than Luke Spencer. While grateful for the role, he also felt the narrowing effect of long-term success. The industry struggled to imagine him elsewhere, and he wrestled with the quiet frustration of unrealized possibilities. Still, he remained professional, choosing consistency and responsibility over resentment, even as the weight of expectation grew heavier with time. Guarding a private life. Throughout his career, Anthony maintained a firm boundary between his work and his personal life. He rarely attended industry events and avoided sharing details unrelated to his craft. This reserve was not secrecy, but self-preservation. He believed that privacy allowed him to remain present and grounded, qualities essential to his work. Colleagues respected his distance, even when fans speculated about aspects of his life that were never theirs to know. Anthony chose silence not out of fear, but out of principle, valuing authenticity over explanation. Away from the spotlight, he cultivated interests in literature, writing, and cooking, finding fulfillment in routines that bore no resemblance to celebrity. His relationships were built quietly, without performance or publicity. In a profession that often rewards exposure, Anthony demonstrated that restraint could be a deliberate and dignified choice. Professional bonds and boundaries. Anthony's working relationships reflected the same discipline that shaped his private life. His partnership with co-stars was rooted in mutual respect rather than intimacy, and he approached collaboration with focus and restraint. On-screen chemistry did not necessarily translate into off-screen closeness, and Anthony was comfortable with that distinction. He believed that professionalism created space for honesty and performance. Disagreements over story direction were handled privately, without spectacle or grievance. Over time, shared history fostered a quiet understanding among colleagues, even when perspectives differed. After stepping away from General Hospital, Anthony reflected more openly on the collaborative nature of the work, acknowledging the collective effort behind its success. Distance softened into appreciation, and professional respect endured. His approach reinforced the idea that meaningful collaboration does not require constant closeness, only shared commitment to the work itself. Choosing to step away. In later years, Physical challenges began to affect Anthony's ability to perform at the level he demanded of himself. A persistent back injury made the physical demands of production increasingly difficult. Rather than compromise the integrity of the character or his own well-being, he made the decision to leave the role. It was not an act of withdrawal, but of recognition. After decades of commitment, he understood his limits and honored them. His departure was understated, consistent with the way he had navigated fame throughout his career. By stepping away on his own terms, Anthony preserved both the character's legacy and his personal dignity. The choice marked the end of a remarkable chapter, allowing space for reflection and rest after years of emotional and physical intensity. A life defined by quiet. Today, Anthony Geary lives far from the noise that once surrounded his work. His days are shaped by reading, writing, cooking, and companionship, measured not by schedules but by intention. Removed from constant recognition, he has embraced a rhythm that reflects the values of his early life: simplicity, focus, and authenticity. His legacy remains firmly embedded in television history, but his sense of fulfillment comes from something less visible. Anthony's journey illustrates that success does not require perpetual presence, nor does impact fade with quiet. By choosing when to step forward and when to step back, he defined his life on his own terms. In doing so, he offered a rare example of artistic dedication balanced by personal integrity, reminding us that sometimes the most meaningful achievements unfold away from the spotlight.